Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Something special's cooking, hot and delicious. Indulge yourself at Morning at Maggie's in Bay City. Omelets, frittatas, hotcakes, and more. Make every day special with a stop at Morning at Maggie's for breakfast or lunch on Saginaw in Bay City. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pole. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox with this ingenious rebounding pole. Your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. It's a world of hats and haberdashery and a day of preserving and perpetuating the past for the present and future. You follow me? Well, stay tuned, you will. Today we're heading to northwestern Lower Michigan to visit with Cynthia Cozy, founder of the online enterprise Hats and Haberdashery. We'll learn of the amazing world, yes, it is an amazing world, of hat creation. Hats truly make the individual. Then we visit Lewiston, Michigan to talk with the new owners of that historic family restaurant tavern, the Rustic Inn. Join us. It's all coming up next on Michigan Magazine. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, what began as a crazy idea among 9 police officers to purchase the historic Clare City Bakery quickly became an international phenomenon, carrying on a Michigan tradition with delicious donuts, pies, pastries, breads, original coffee, and more, plus a full menu at the new adjacent traffic stop diner. Downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts.
Vacation. Don't make the planning of it more than what you're trying to get away from. At northernmichigancabinrentals.com, you can choose from over 2,500 cabins, cottages, lodges, resorts, lakefront vacation home rentals, and more. Whatever experience you're looking for, from rustic to luxury and everything in between. No more rustling with telephone books. No more endless internet searches. Just one site with over 2,500 Northern Michigan destinations. northernmichigancabinrentals.com.
It's been said that hats can make the person. If you've noticed, those who are hat wearers may carry themselves slightly different from those of us who are not hat wearers. Hats have been around for ages and have served several purposes, as ornaments, or protection, or to indicate status. Women's hat styles seem to be continuously changing. Shortly after World War II, the increasing emphasis on informality and practicality saw a slight decline in hat wearing. By the 70s and 80s, and through the 90s, a revival of interest in women's millinery has taken firm roots and set in. We've always been intrigued by the diverse original styles appearing in public, and it was with keen interest and delight that we were directed to an actual hat designer and producer snugly located on the picturesque main street of Sutton Bay, Michigan. Here, designer Cynthia Cozy works diligently from her shop called Hats and Haberdashery. How in the world did you get into the world of creating hats? What was the spark and your inspiration? You got a couple minutes here.
Well, basically, I have an artistic background. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago in something totally unrelated, which was printmaking. And I've always made things. I've always been real creative that way. And when I moved back to northern Michigan about 8 years ago, I was actually embellishing jackets with antique things. They took forever, and by the time I was finished, they were so expensive. It was, just outrageous. I'd always been interested in hats. I actually had a small hat collection. I had 2 grandmothers who were great hat wearers. And so I had to think of what could I embellish that would be smaller and not take so much time. So I started to embellish pre-made hats. And I was selling them to shops to sell. Then I had trouble getting the same hat in the same quality of hat. So I just thought, I'm going to have to learn how to make the hat itself as well as doing the trims on it. And I'm sort of known for this kind of ribbon work on my hats, and I've really been working to develop that, and that's what people come to. I do have some trims that I use that are pre-made, but most of the time that's what women request, because that's what I...
Right. Well, you've come a long way, too. I understand that you were in smaller quarters or even at home when you started this, and it just kind of expanded in that, out of necessity, more or less.
Yeah, it really was. I decided to try, a summer. I was going to come down to Sutton Bay and try to find sort of a small space and just be a hat shop. And at the time, some friends of mine were closing their business, and they had been carrying my hats, and they said, well, you know, we always sell this particular brand of clothing. When we sell one of your hats, you should get it now, because we're not going to be in business. So then I started to do some clothing, and now I'm a totally different thing altogether, and actually my time for making hats seems to be getting smaller and smaller. But hopefully I've gotten to a size now, I've gotten a really good staff, and that will free me up to do even more of what I love to do, which is the hat making.
Right,
so.
and that's a key thing you can see in each one of your hats. There's a lot of thought and love in each hat. I mean, you take into consideration that. Here we have what? Some tools of the trade that you have?
Tools of the trade.
Explain a little bit of.
Well, these are blocks, and for making a felt hat, this is a little felt hat, you need to, in order to get a round crown, you need to block it on a block, and that means steaming it, getting it real wet with steam, and pulling and stretching over the blocks. These are brim blocks. This is called a body. And you would steam it out, you'd pull it over the block, and you'd actually cut the brim away, and then separately block the brim, and then stitch them back together. That was traditionally how it was done. If you look at men's hats from a long time ago, or women's hats, you'll see that they were cut apart. Now, of course, they have machinery that just punches them right out. I have a pretty extensive collection of antique blocks. Most of them I store at home, but they're fun, and I've had fun collecting them. But I had a man come to me last summer and said, I have 60 blocks, you want them? I said, I'll take them. So it was really good. And this is my favorite tool. My uncle lives in England, and he found this for me, and it's really saved my life in terms of hat making, because you can't get an accurate head size just by measuring. Because, you know, if you measure a head around like this, you're going to get one measurement. If you measure like this, you're going to get another measurement. So I have women try on hats until they find one that's real comfortable. Then I can take this and put it inside the hat, and it'll give me the size.
Oh, there you go.
Both women's sizes and men's size in that.
Goodness.
And so when I make a hat, then I use this as my gauge. So that's my favorite. And then I have stretchers. I do some hat repairs, and people come in, oftentimes they fall in love with a hat that's just too small.
And you can stretch it a little bit.
I can stretch it a little bit. Sometimes they come in and you know, and they want me to gain an inch for them, and it can't be done.
way.
So, but there are other hats that I do, like this hat, which is actually my most popular, my most ordered hat, and it's a fabric hat, and I cut it out and sew it on the sewing machine. This is another hat that I do. That is braided straw, and I braid it myself and coil it into a hat. It's a braided raffia.
Oh my goodness.
So, and just so that you can kind of see, for an example, my hats are also very loosely blocked. I don't do real stiff blocking because I like sort of but this little hat started out like that.
My goodness, same material and everything, eh?
Same material. You know, I love old hats, and of course you can see that in the hats. A lot of people come in and go, oh, you know, these look just like something that my grandmother wore. And if you really look at what your grandmother wore, they are very different in shape, but they're inspired by that, and they certainly suggest that. I'm a gardener. I love flowers. So I tend to go towards that for the embellishment. And I like traditional things. I love, you know, this hat is layered with feathers, and it's got feathers on top. And I just love that. Women used to wear the big plumes on their hat, and now I can't get them to wear a really big plume, but I can get them to wear a little bit. So, so that's kind of where it
Are hats
comes
more or less
from.
for special occasions now? Are they more casual wearing now, or is it?
Well, I think that I really think that my hats are kind of more expensive. So. In that way, people will come to have them made. But I've had ladies they just want a fun hat to kick around, and maybe they have an unusual size head. So they'll ask me to, to make them a hat that really fits them. But if you look on the street, I mean, we see a lot of caps, but if you really look, you'll notice that more and more people are wearing hats. I think that the sun and the weather are definitely a factor. I've noticed that we have a lot of men come in here because of our name. We sort of fool them, and they think that haberdashery is men's accessories. So they're coming in asking for hats, and so I asked them, well, if we had men's hats, what would you want? And they want the fedoras, the old traditional kinds of hats, and so it's not so unusual. You just have to take notice of people actually wearing them.
Help us a little bit with the people who are hat wearers. Maybe some crucial don'ts when you're wearing a hat. What is something that people should take into consideration?
Well, that's a great question to ask. The most typical thing I see when a lady comes in is she'll come in, she'll go, I don't look good in hats, and she'll stick that hat right on the back of her head, and nobody looks good with a hat on the back of their head. A hat should be worn more forward, and it depends on your face and the hat, but for the most part a hat should be worn forward. And then it's always good to do a little slant, and depending on the shape of your face, particularly women with really round faces should definitely wear their hat at a slant. I have a real long narrow, so I can get away with sometimes wearing a hat straight on. But that's the most common, mistake that people make. The other one is these hats were popular at one time in the 30s and 40s, and they sort of started to come back because of Avita. And these hats have an elastic on them, and many women, will do this. They'll throw it on, they'll pull that elastic down like that. Well, that's not going to go. So with a hat like this, the elastic comes down in the back, and this particular one has a veil, so you pull it down. Now, if I had more hair and more time, you would just completely cover it, and that holds the hat right in place, and then you're ready to go.
Oh my goodness, I just didn't know what it took to become a proper hat wearer. Cynthia was a treasure trove of exceptional tips to make a hat an extension and a statement of one's personality. It certainly was an intriguing learning experience. Cynthia is also well known for creating hats for special occasions such as weddings or other formal events, but if one is interested, it's best to get your order in early, anywhere from 2 to 3 months ahead of time. Again, a big thank you to millinery artist Cynthia Kuzi of the Hats and Haberdashery in Suttons Bay. Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by Hale Hardware, your do-it center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving Northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale. Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of Northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mile, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mile. Once a patron, always a patron. That's what we learned after visiting with customers of the historic Rustic Inn just south of Lewiston, Michigan, along Red Oak Road. The restaurant tavern has been a staple of locals and vacationers since the 1940s. It was a sad day when the Rustic closed its doors about 4 years ago, and it was missed dearly. That closing and the memories of good times weighed on the mind of Michigander Ernest Cintafanti. So much so that after working for over a dozen years in the South, he and his wife Lori decided to move back to good old Michigan, to the area they dearly loved. It seemed only natural what followed after that.
I always missed Lewiston. We were down in Florida for like 15 years, and we decided to come back up to Lewiston, and I just knew I had to have something to do. Never thought I would own a restaurant, but everything just fell into place, one after another.
So were you a customer or patron before this? Or?
I used to come here during deer season and stuff, always enjoyed the food. Always heard how good the food was, a salad bar. Joanne had a fantastic reputation for salad bar and good food. So that was the bad part. If we're going to be able to keep that reputation, people are going to expect it. And a lot of people miss this place. I miss this place, and it's just a comfortable place to be in. It's real comfortable. I enjoy being here. I enjoy coming to work, and I haven't done that in a long time. And I'm enjoying the people. I love the people up here because they are good. And I used to come up here almost every weekend just to get away from the rat race. When I had a business downstate, I'd come up here, and I think that's what saved me for 16 years. Just come up here meeting people. And I came up here at 48 to live, and bought a house in Florida. My wife decided she wanted to move to Florida, so that's how we got there 15 years. Of course, now she decided she wanted to come back up here. So you know who's boss, right?
I see. Now, whose basic idea was it? Yours or Lori? Was it to eventually take the reins
For the restaurant?
Yeah,
it was mine.
Okay.
I said if I go up there, I says I have to do something, or else I end up at the Moose Lodge or at American Legion all day.
Gotcha.
And what do? I buy a bar restaurant.
Right.
So I'm here all day. Enjoy getting up, and I enjoy coming in here.
Meeting the people and keeping something like this. Wow. Well, Lori, did he have to convince you, or were you on board, or what?
No, I was ready to come back.
Florida's nice, but it got too hot for me, and after a while, the people are different down there than they are here. Nothing against them, but you enjoy the people up here, and they're more friendly. As a matter of fact, we met here in Lewiston.
Oh, no kidding. Bring back a lot of memories, Lori, does it?
Yes.
So you came up here. It's been closed for about 4 years. Did you have any difficulty in reopening, or was there things that you had to do to bring it back to the former glory?
We started late in the season, and I wasn't really in a hurry. I wanted to know the building before I opened the doors because of the reputation it had before. You had to keep up that reputation, and I wanted to know about the building, the repairs of it and everything, instead of just opening up the doors and have everything fall apart. Because, like you said, it was closed for 4 years, so you didn't know what to expect. But it surprised me how well it was kept.
What do you have on your menu? Can you go over some of the more popular items on your menu that you
The
have?
prime rib, steak, seafoods, the sandwiches,
Escargot.
the escargot is the big thing.
Wow.
Yeah, surprisingly, up north here, escargot is going good. People just sit here and just eat it. Really love it. And I'm glad that we could copy the same thing Joanne used to serve. Because they loved her escargot and her salad bar. That's a tough thing to keep up, is their salad bar. And she did such a terrific job on it.
Anything you'd like to tell the people about the Rustic Inn that maybe they don't know about?
Well, it's going to be about the same it used to be. Okay, I mean, we're just going to have a little bit more events and open like 6 days a week instead of 3. And for the snowmobilers, they can come out here and they can stand outside or sit outside and without taking all their gear off and have whatever they would like to drink. And that's about it. It's probably going to stay the same.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you guys for sharing with us, and we hope to stay in touch.
All right, thank you.
Hingeman Acres Canoe Livery and Resort on M33 just north of Mayo, catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. The Cedar Tavern and Grill of Lupton, where friends come to meet friends and families come for delicious food and a wholesome atmosphere. Come relax with your favorite beverage or bring the crew for a great meal and live entertainment. It's happening now at the Cedar of Lupton. Clemick Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemick Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemick's on Mapes Road, Mile. Thanks for joining us on this week's jaunt along Michigan's back roads. It's been fun. Now we hope to leave you with a little Michigan hope with our secret phrase, giving you a chance to win a bit of Michigan goodness. Spring begins next month on Sunday, March 20th. Send that phrase to us now with your name and mailing address to the email or physical address you see here on the screen. This is Barry Stutzman wishing you a great week. We'll see you next week on RFD TV and 24/7 on the World Wide Web. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Shopping for that special person just got easier when you shop at Rose City Drug at 2640 North M33, just south of the Rose City city limits. You'll find gifts for everyone on your list from 1 to 100. Shop online or in person at Rose City Drug, Rose City. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery.
See